Hi, welcome to another edition of We Review Races with Billy and Sam. Today's review is for Augusta 2021. This is the shirt. This is Washington. So, diving right in, let's talk about, this was a single race for us, so we can talk about the entire race.
Okay, check-in. Let's talk about check-in. They did give us Ironman 70.3 mask, which is here. This is what it looks like when it's on.
Woohoo! It's a little tight.
It is kind of tight.
You got a big head. They also, this was the first race where we got, I don't know what to actually call it. I guess it's kinesthesiology tape or something. KT tape is the brand name that we have known for a while. Curad is apparently trying it out, so we'll try a review on the Curad Ironman branded KT tape when we get a chance.
Green and black bag. This was the same dry bag we've been getting for all the races, but this one's green and black, so it's cool. Something different. Anything else we got cool with the...
Okay, so
we got the shirt.
Pro tip for your bike check-in. I forget about this every year, so future Sam, listen up. When you're checking in your bike, go past the bike entrance, the normal entrance where the fire station is. Past there, take a left where the bikes come in. There's a little parking lot there. You do not have to walk your bike forever down that long entry. If you're going away from the city, you go past the entry where there's the fire station on your left, and that entry, just the next left, boom, parking lot, boom, walking your bike, save yourself half an hour.
So, you probably don't understand any of those directions. Basically, if you look at the bike map, and you look at where the end of the bike course is, follow that little line. It's just like a little back road, and there's some parking on either side of the road right there that you can get to.
Nice and easy.
Some people know about it because there were a fair number of people there, but it was plenty of parking.
Yeah, that's the pro tip.
You can actually, we parked, you can actually, on bike check-in, you can turn in to, they won't let you there the morning of, but you can turn in and go through the levee or whatever and go down there and park on the right. They were letting you park there, so that's a couple of places. This is when you're dropping your bike off the day before in transition.
Sorry, should have been more clear. Thank you so much for clearing that.
No, you're good. So
the
T1, T2, same place. It's in the exact same boat dock area, boat ramp area that they've always had it.
The main check-in is at the Marriott. That's
it's at a convention center.
Yeah, there's the Marriott's attached to it. So that's
yeah,
how I know.
Yeah.
There's nothing special. That's fairly easy and fairly regular.
There will be people out there selling parking spots for $5. We got a street spot. This is for when you got to park for check-in.
Yeah.
If you don't want to drive around, you can pay $5. There's actually even a deck right across the street. I don't know if that's free or not. We didn't check it. We parked on the street, and there was plenty of spaces on the street. If you just drive around the block or whatever.
There is no need to bring your bike into check-in. You can't bring it in all the way in anyway. You'd have to leave it in the hall. They do have some racks for people who did. But if you don't want to leave your bike on the back of the car or whatever, you could take it inside. But that's the only reason.
It's a pretty big expo. I mean, of the Ironman expos, this one's a pretty large one because they have a lot of indoor space to set up in the convention center to do it. So. More vendors, more opportunity to get free samples or whatever. So if you want to spend some extra time at the expo, you can probably pick up a little bit of extra stuff.
All right, so on to the swim.
Oh my goodness, this has to be my favorite swim ever because it's downriver and the river was extra fast. I mean, there's no way to say enough good things about this, mainly because I'm not a swimmer and I don't like swimming. You jump off the dock and you swim straight for 1.15 miles and turn right and swim 0.05 miles onto the boat ramp, and that's it. This is totally dependent on the river of how fast it is.
Yes.
I will say, stay to the left. Stay towards the center of the river. A lot of people swim towards the right. I don't really understand that. I used to swim towards the right because I wanted to stay away from people. I swam towards the left for this race, and I was away from everybody. Nobody swam to the left. I don't understand. I even swam to the left of the buoy some until a volunteer said something to me. I don't know if they were telling me to go back to the right or not, but I went back to the right of the buoys. But even swimming right up next to the sighting buoys, I was by myself almost the whole way, and that is the fastest part of the river. And I can tell you that because I'm a 43-minute swimmer guy. 43 is my number for a lake swim, freshwater lake swim or whatever, in a wetsuit. I did this swim in 28 minutes and 30 seconds. The river was fast. I did not all of a sudden get 15 minutes faster
Cut off your time.
between last week and this week. It didn't happen. It was all the river. I mean, to tell you how fast the river was, Megan, oldest daughter, did this with us. She did France with us also. That was the last time she swam. Was in France in July. Yeah. She was 2 minutes behind me. That's how fast the river. I swim every single week, sometimes twice a week, and so I've gotten a little bit better at swimming, but she was right there back behind me. So I mean, is there anything else to say about the swim?
So in years past, you have been able to cheat the red buoy and go into the right. So I, of course, tried it. I wasn't trying to cheat so much as just had the habit. But yes, I swam all along the yellow buoys. There's the red buoy at the end. They did make you go around the red buoy, so plan on swimming to the outside of that. This river was cooking, and they still had us do it. So I tried to come in at the corner like I have done in the past. That was not happening this year. Go around the red buoy. Plan on doing that. They were making that.
That's an inconsistent thing. I mean, we saw this in Chattanooga. You know, the rule is you go to the outside of the red buoy. But for Augusta and for Chattanooga even this year, but in Augusta in years past, you've gone like basically towards the red buoy, and then they pushed you into the. And this was not people cheating. This was not people trying to shorten the course. This was, you know, the Ironman volunteers or whoever, the people were pushing you away from the red buoy. This time they pushed you around the red buoy, and so there's more reason to stay all the way to the left because that red buoy's on the left, and all the people that were to the right had to kind of swim upriver a little bit to get back around it, and so it kind of got crowded. That was the only place that I felt crowded, was coming around that last red buoy and then swimming into the boat ramp, and swim all the way until your fingers touch concrete. Because you'll have people that are walking, and I mean, I'll probably pass 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
Just keep swimming. I mean, I don't, you know. So keep swimming all the way to the concrete. Stay to the left around the red buoy. You'll be good to go.
They changed up transition this year from what 17 was the last year we did it. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
So that was interesting. If you have done earlier iterations of this race, I think. You remembered it because we did a trial run.
Oh yeah, where the bike in and out was in a different spot. But I mean, don't take our word for it because he's talking about changing the course for next year too.
Yeah,
so it could be
so
something different
we talked
next
to
year.
the race director. He said he had some bike notes that he was going to try to implement for next year. So, you know, this is the kind of content that you can only get from our videos. So appreciate you watching. You get stuff like, hey, here's what the course may look like in the future. We don't actually know. We just know that he thinks he's going to change it. So
let's talk about the bike.
All right, we're very excited. This was a fun bike. I recorded a little over a 2300 on my Garmin. Ironman says like 1900, 2000, something like that on elevation. I heard some complaints about the hills. I didn't really have any. It was a kind of a rolling hill is what I would really call this bike. It is, I wouldn't call it a PR bike course by any stretch. But, you know, roads were meh. You had some very good roads, and you had some very poor roads. Of course, fantastic police support. You know, that's it's Ironman, so you just expect that by default.
And I would agree that you expect that out of the Ironman, but there were 4 cops at every intersection. Now, I don't think that there was any intersections where there was just one. I mean, if there was just one, it was somebody on a lonely road somewhere where some races wouldn't have anybody.
Yeah.
But I mean, at any of the intersections that had traffic, I'm fairly confident there was 4 cops at every single one at each.
And there were a
place.
couple, that we went, went diagonally through. And the cops were keeping traffic moving and keeping bikers, safe. So kudos to Ironman and Augusta for taking care of that.
Yeah, this particular bike course, all inside Georgia. Is that what we decided?
All inside Georgia.
So typically, we on the previous Augusta races we've done, you basically leave Georgia, go into South Carolina, and come back. But this one was all inside Georgia. So I don't know what it's going to change for next year. But I don't know. I liked the bike course. I don't think the roads were that bad, and the hills weren't that bad. We've had some hills where we're like, oh man, that's just mean that you made us do that hill. But I don't remember any of those hills on this race.
No.
None that there were prolonged uphill where you were spending 5 or 10 minutes going up a hill. Maybe 2 or 3 minutes, but not a super long.
Yeah, there was no punitive nature to the course. I guess challenging, or what are we going to call that? That they put this obstacle in there just to be an obstacle. Everything made sense to the way the course kind of needed to lay out. I think that this course could have some improvement. I think there's a lot more opportunity. We didn't see a single stalk of corn, and that's kind of an Ironman statement.
Think about the very last. Think about the last race we did in Augusta. You had a steep downhill going to like Jenny Road or something. I don't remember what it was. It was steep.
And then a hard right.
And then it was a stop sign and a hard right. There was none of that this time.
There's definitely not that.
So that was
on the old Augusta Aiken South Carolina side.
So to me, I think it was a better bike course than what there has been in the past.
Still, the road conditions. I had a hard time with some of those road conditions. They were just not great. There was a lot of really good road conditions, and there was a lot of very poor road conditions.
But not the worst that we've ever had.
No. But, it's Georgia, and so I have a higher expectation than I do. So, that part's fair. For somebody coming down from Pennsylvania, these were all good road conditions. And I don't mean that as a slight to Pennsylvania, because Arizona is the worst state. But everybody that I've talked to from Pennsylvania, these roads are amazing. So we haven't done enough biking in Pennsylvania to be able to say that, but
there's a lot of turns. It's not like it's an out and back. It had the very best U-turn we've ever had in a race.
Absolutely. I need a kudos on that one.
So most races, to make up the distance, you'll have an out and back. And so if you have an out and back, basically you do a U-turn around a cone and slow down to 0, and you come around the turn. This one, to do that distance, you came down one side of an airport runway. You're on the road, not the runway itself, but just imagine an airport, you're kind of going around the runway. You come around, you make a V to go out, and then when you go out, to get to the U-turn, it's a cul-de-sac, and it's a pretty wide cul-de-sac where you didn't lose a lot of speed going around the cul-de-sac. It's actually kind of fun. You made the U-turn and then you came back. So there was not, you didn't slow down to 0. Best U-turn ever I've had on a bike.
Absolutely. And I have come to like those portions of a bike course. Not the U-turn at all, but the out and back. And so you kind of gauge how many people are in front of you. It's an opportunity to kind of see, how close am I? How many spots can I get? I imagine if I were at the front of the course, I'd be excited to be able to gauge how my next competitor is. We don't ever have to worry about that, folks. But one day when I'm 70 and there's 2 of us, I'll be able to see them.
Yeah.
So I love the way that they did that in Ironman. If you guys can figure out how to integrate that more into more races, I like it a lot. It also allows that entire road to be shut down, so you have 0 traffic whatsoever. Something like that, where there was nothing on that road. It was for airport stuff, I assume. But the ability to shut down a whole road, and then there was an aid station on that road. I would have loved to have seen some support on the other side too, because you could have just co-did it, but it gave me a chance to actually throw my trash in an opening.
So on the aid station, I get why they didn't have it on both sides. If I'm blowing through an aid station,
Yep.
then I'm going to try to go as far left as I can go.
Yeah.
Right.
Fair.
And you've got bikes coming the other way, right? It's not like you can go all the way into the other lane. If you had the aid station on the other side of the road, you're gonna have, which, I mean, I get you. I think that they could have done that because you're not really having probably that many more volunteers. That you can drop all the stuff off in one place.
Yeah.
But you eliminate people being able to get close to the center
line.
so a lot more dangerous. I mean, you could have had one further down, but then I think where they had it was fine. I mean, they nailed the first aid station at mile 15. Like, the mile 15 marker was at the aid station. The second one was at like mile 30. Not at like mile 28-ish, and then this last one was like at mile 42 or 43, something like that. Something where it was basically every 14 miles after that first 15. So I mean, they nailed where the aid station should be as far as dividing the course up into quarters. So that part was good.
That's fair.
You got anything else to talk about on the bike? And we haven't given any ratings yet. What you given a rating on the transition?
I don't love this transition. It's in a field. I don't know how. I don't have any suggestions for improvement.
Because that's where it's always going to be.
That's where it has to be.
That's where it's always been. It's close to the swim exit. I mean, you don't have to run forever to get there.
Like, the swim exit is not great, but they put down mats, and this is maybe the only Ironman where they actually put down carpet.
They had it a long way.
That indoor-outdoor carpet, because that road is tough right there. And it must be tough because Ironman puts out the indoor carpet. So we know.
Thank you, Godfather, for doing that.
Yeah, hey, shout out. I'm going to give this like a 5. Maybe a 4. I'm going to give it a 4. It's about what I expect for transition.
So was this 7 bikes or 8?
This was an 8 bike.
Yeah, so I don't
all of the lights were on the far side of transition, and we were on the other from the lights. Maybe that could be improved. It kind of is what it is. I don't know what.
I guess if you were racked on the other side, you would have thought that it was awesome. I mean, the lines to transition were down the rows, and so it was kind of hard for us. I mean, not the lines to transition, the lines to the porta potties.
Yeah.
Were down the bike rows, and so you had people in line, and we're trying to set up our stuff. Yeah. And kind of bumping people that are in line to get to the porta potty so we can set up our stuff because they're right there at it. So that was kind of tough. But this is where transition is going to be. They're not going to move.
There's nothing they can do.
I mean, and they only had what do we decide, 2,500 people, and we know they can get 3,500 people in there. So we know there's more room for it. But all right. So I mean, I got to give it at least a 5.5, maybe even a 6. Just, I mean, there are some things that they can improve for sure, but we knew it was going to be like this.
Yes, it's exactly what I've expected in past years. So,
all right. So for the swim.
I mean, you have to give it I'm going to give it a 6.5.
I have to give it a 7. I mean, if I could give it higher than a 7, because, I mean, if they give you a 15-minute head start by running down the river, and it says they had the timing right at the edge.
Yeah, but so they can't control the speed of the river. So the speed of the river is determined by the dam.
Okay. So one of we had complaints about Chattanooga because they started you like 2 minutes before you actually got in the water.
Yep.
They started you right when you got in the water here.
Correct.
The ramp out was not slippery. They had mats.
They had added boards on the ramp down to the dock. They had added boards on that right side.
Okay.
For extra grip. So kudos on that.
So it's got to be 7.
Yeah, I mean, you still have the plants in the water.
I didn't see any plants. I got the weeds. Yeah. So I didn't see the plants growing up out.
No, because we were
but I did as you're swimming. You get. But you get. I mean, that's the river. Ironman didn't put those plants in there.
They did not, and I don't. Yeah.
No. Okay.
If I'm looking for the perfect swim.
This is it, man.
Dude, it is a fast swim. This is definitely a fast swim.
The pros did this in 19 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
You did it in 28 minutes and 30 seconds or so? When have you ever done 9 minutes off the pro pace?
Never. Not once.
Perfect. It's the perfect swim.
Billy is entering the Ironman Augusta convent. He is now going to convert you.
All right, the bike.
He's right. There's nothing wrong with the swim. There's literally nothing to complain about.
But you still give it a 6.5.
I have to believe that there's something better out there.
Okay.
I just don't know what it is. I don't want to, you just don't want to burn your powder too early. You just never know, man.
Okay.
Whites their eyes.
The bike. What do you give the bike?
Okay, there is zero scenery on this bike. Sorry, I'm gonna complain about the things that I can come up with because it's a really good bike. It was not a PR bike for me. This was a PR swim for me, but we've done Augusta before, so some of that's just getting faster. This was not a PR bike for me in Augusta. The old course I was faster on, I'm sure because I was used to it. So no scenery. You had some rough roads. I got to give this a 6. It's a really good bike. There's a few things they could fix. I think that this could be a great bike. Augusta's very popular. You have rolling hills. This is not a flat course, but that makes it fun and that makes it a little challenging. I liked all the turns, and the turns were well thought out. I felt like Augusta could put some money into those roads.
What would you change?
Fix the roads. If you're keeping that course, you need to fix the roads. Some of those were just not great.
It was not the main roads that were on. It was when you made a turn. You
Yeah.
turned off and you got on some rough road, and then you came back on the main road. Or something.
And then coming back in, there was that one stretch of really great road, and it really highlighted how bad the road on either side of it was. It's kind of on and off. So it's not bad, and, once again, I'm complaining about, I'm holding Georgia to a higher standard. I hold Georgia and Florida to a higher standard of roads than, say, Louisiana, where the roughest roads we rode on were still markedly improved from any road I was ever on in Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.5 because I'm gonna bump it up for that U-turn. But I mean, it was a good bike. There were some marginally bad roads. I wouldn't even. I mean, if we were doing this for another race, we might not even call them bad roads. Just our expectation for Georgia roads are pretty high.
Which should say something, really.
Yeah, I mean, you did Chattanooga, which is Tennessee race, but all the bike is in Georgia, and those roads are great.
Yeah, because the Tennessee roads are terrible.
Yeah, Tennessee roads are awful.
And then you cross into Georgia, and it's like an angel was in charge of the DOT. It's amazing.
All right, so 6.5 for me. So moving on to the run, talking about
on to the run. This is the same run that Augusta has had for more than a decade now.
Yes, the exact same run. Probably the best spectator-friendly run in all of Ironman.
It is just phenomenal. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I'm going to give this run a 7. There's literally nothing I would change on this run. It's phenomenal. You have shade. It's flat. You have enough turns to make it interesting. It's a 2-loop course, so you get plenty of chances to see opponents, that kind of thing. And the spectators can just run. I'm going to call it north and south. I don't actually know what that direction is. But if we're running east and west, basically, through an S, then they can come north and south and see us a bunch. It's phenomenal and lots of access.
So what he's talking about is there's downtown roads, and you just imagine that like a regular downtown, they're square, right? So you have streets going straight this way and streets going across this way, and they all make squares. Basically, this run is you kind of come around and you go down and up and down and up and down and up, and then you go all the way around and you come around and down and up, down and up, down and up. So your spectator can basically see you when you go down and up. They can see you there, and then as you're turning around, they can walk to the next street, see you there. As you're coming down the next street, see you there, and so it's really easy for a spectator to see you multiple times on this one course without them having to run all over the place. So for that, I mean, it's like I said, it's probably the best spectator-friendly run course that Ironman has. It's certainly one that we've
of the Ironman we've done. This is my favorite run.
Now they Ironman has like the boardwalk runs, or like the one in France that we did. You ran along, and that's a great race for runners because there's plenty of spectators along, and spectators can sit out and eat and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah.
But they can only see you, 2 or 3, 4 times or whatever. Whereas this one, they can literally see you just about every mile as you go down. So for spectators, a great course. I mean, that very back road is really lonely because there's no spectators on it. But when you get closer to like where the fire station is, there's spectators there. Right. I mean, that's probably my least favorite part of the run because you have to do a whole another 6.5 or 7 miles or whatever, and you're all by yourself in your own thoughts. But I mean, just the way they have it laid out. I mean, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I guess I'll give it a 7 too. All right. So finish line. We got a hat, and we didn't bring it with us. And I'm not terribly excited about the hat, other than it does say Augusta on it. So stoked that it doesn't just say Ironman on it, because they've given us those at the beginning. And then we did get a medal. So peach ribbon for the Peach State. And it's a pretty good medal.
It's really interesting.
The skyline of Augusta.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the Atlantic City medal, where it's inset a little bit. Yeah. I don't know if Ironman is trending towards. I mean, all of the shirts are now similar. But have a little local flair. Yeah. If they're doing this, I guess we'll see this coming week in.
So the Augusta hat, it did not have the colored bill. And it didn't have finisher on it, and it didn't have a date, which none of them have dates on them recently. So,
yeah, I've got no issue. We have said we're not complaining about that. We're probably getting close to starting to be able to complain about that because they didn't order these hats.
Yeah, but I'm betting that those were all from last year.
They look really similar to a hat that we've had in Augusta before. Yeah. Anytime you do it for 10 years, I mean, let's be honest, there's only so many ways to say Augusta, Georgia, Ironman 70.3. Yeah. Maybe they just start rotating like a clock, I don't know. But they did that because that one year, those hats were awful. I hated those hats.
With the stripes?
Where they did the you couldn't even read it because half of it was, on top of your head. But, the same design. It feels like you should pull in the T-shirt design, which is really cool. I like the flower motif.
I mean, they did do the peach. So, well, of course, that's more pink, and this is more. I don't know. Anyway, that's about the only thing I have to complain about on the finish line stuff is I would have liked the hat to be a little bit nicer, but at least it said Augusta on it.
Yeah. So they had, I will say, they had the VIP tent extended pretty far into the sidewalk this time. From a
spectator standpoint, it was really weird.
Really kind of tough to get around the finish line this year, and that wasn't great. So if I was suggesting for improvements, maybe put the VIP tables a little close together. I mean, certainly that's where it's got to go, and I recognize that.
But make it longer towards the towards the along the street, not wider into the sidewalk.
Yeah, because. So once you cross the finish line, you immediately are forced to go through the athlete food. Is there a massage or anything in there? But the athlete only area, and then you can exit that. And so to go back to the finish line, you were coming through that little wedge, and there are stairs there. That could have been improved a little bit, but finish line experience is standard Ironman. It's great.
The food, they had pizza. It wasn't quite as good as Maple Valley where they were handing you whole pizzas. Yeah. They were giving you a box with 2 pieces of pizza in it.
Really? I only had 1 piece of pizza. Were there supposed to be 2 in there?
Yeah, there's supposed to be 2.
Now I'm getting upset.
Somebody shortage. Man. You can get as many of those boxes as you want. They were just handing them. It was just a COVID thing or whatever where they weren't letting you pick up the piece of pizza or whatever. Yeah. And they did have a variety. You had pepperoni, cheese, pepperoni, and sausage. All Papa John's, maybe? There's been Papa John's in the past. I didn't notice the boxes.
Yeah.
All right, so overall for the race?
Overall for the race, I think, we have a lot of experience with Augusta, so I don't know how to quite judge this. Judge it as a race or judge it against other Augustas, because Augusta is one of my favorite races. It is certainly the race that I've done the most, and I would highly recommend it. So, solo,
I think you got to judge it as the races we've done this year.
Okay.
Not against
this
itself.
year, this is an easy 6. I feel like I'm probably being a little critical at that.
Yeah.
So probably between 6.5, but I'm going to 6 and 6.5. I'm going to go 6 then.
Yeah, I was going 6.5. I mean, we gave it a 7 on the run, 7 on the swim. I think I even gave it a 6.5 on the bikes. So you knocked off a little bit for some improvements they can make on transition. But yeah, 6 total 6.5.
Yeah, this is a great race, guys. I cannot. If you're looking for a first-timer race, Augusta's it. It is about 4 days after the race. I don't know. I guess it's a week after the race. Go ahead and call Holiday Inn Express downtown right now. That is the hotel to have. You want to stay downtown. Augusta has tons of hotels. There's plenty of places to stay. We have done the drive up and get a hotel room on the night before races,
Yes.
and have gotten it easily enough. But certainly, if you're looking for the best place to stay, that's our recommendation. We did not stay there this time, but it makes life easy. So,
Thanks for watching.
thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for our race stories.